We're good to go.
Ready? Hi guys, my name is Joe Soliz, and I'm with 6 black belts here, guys, and we're just gonna do a conversation about the openness of gyms and cross training. And I thought, since I had the opportunity of having these gentlemen here, that we would talk this conversation a little bit. And it's a subject everybody's kind of touched on a little bit, and kind of touchy sometimes. But I want to introduce these guys real quick. This is Mark Ratinho, hey, from Denton, Texas. This is my professor, Octavio Couto, hey, from Dallas, from Octagon MMA. This is Nick, hey, he is Nick Ratinho, his brothers. And of course, you know me, Professor Joe, and this is Jason Soliz and Marco Martinez from Victoria, Texas. Okay, so the conversation is just kind of open, guys, but we're going to be talking just briefly about openness, cross training, coming into the other gyms. We know a lot of people frown a little bit about not coming to certain gyms to train or attending certain seminars just because they're with another association or federation. So I'm not going to make it too more formal, but guys, let's just jump in and start talking about it. Professor, I'm going to let you just say if you want to say something first, or sir?
Basically, for me, I think of Jiu-jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. I'm black belt since 1996, doing Jiu-jitsu since 1988. And I remember back at the times that Romero Jacaré Cavalcante, that's the head coach of Alliance. Back in those days, back in Brazil, it was a blue belt, the Club Jacaré. Always I remember that we had people from different, students from different schools, like Grace Academy, Silverberg team, other go there to the Club Jacaré to participate in the class, to train the class. With myself, I went to so many times to Silverberg, not just me, but a lot of names. Those now is the big names. For example, Fábio Gugel, Alexandre Paiva. I had the pleasure to do the match with Marcelo Berg, that was completely different schools. My point is, the way that when I started Jiu-Jitsu, always was that way. I don't see there is no reason to change that. You cannot go a place or a gym. If the environment is nice, if you like the people over there, you have the same common sharing that you like the art, you like to evolve, why not you cannot go to visit to evolve? That idea that you cannot go because it's you'll be a traitor. I think this is completely a joke.
You know, I came up in a background where I wouldn't say that I couldn't train with anybody else. That wasn't really the case, but we were under a group of people when Jiu-Jitsu was kind of just brought to us in the United States, and it was different at that time than it is now. It's way more giving. People train everywhere now, and I think that's really great. For my students, luckily I'm very fortunate. My brother and I have had a school this year. It's 19 years we've been open, and to be open now, that amount of time, I've seen so many things come through. And my biggest thing is I look at my students to this day and I say, okay, what can I give to them that I did not have? And one of those main things is I want them to be able to have so many different resources, not just the way I teach them, because I am helping them and guiding them along the way, but there's a lot of students that look at the stuff that I do, say, I don't like that, I like this style. And that's where this man right here has come in to help me out. He's shown me how to deal with concepts and to be able to pretty much just add anybody's game that you like, that you want to follow into a style of your own by adding different concepts. So I try to pass it on to my students, and by doing that, I like to try to bring in as many different people they can see. I like different styles. I like people who have different questions. It generates the question. If you don't have someone else to come in to show a different aspect, you're not going to have any questions in the class. You're not going to grow in that class. You're going to be stuck with the same thing. And how many schools I mean, I have a lot of friends in the jiu-jitsu community that say, oh man, I train with this guy all the time, I know their game, they know my game. Well, that's great, but don't you want to roll with people that you don't know their game, or something that kind of wild card, someone has a different style? The only way you're going to get that, in my opinion, is if you kind of branch out. Doesn't mean you have to leave the person you call like your professor or your organization. It doesn't mean anything, it has nothing to do with it. It's all about growth, in my opinion.
To go to different seminars, see different people, train at different academies. For the most part, I usually try to go to different seminars, pick up one or two different things from that, or concepts or techniques that the person is teaching, and I try to apply that on my own and form my own game. So I've had different people show me different ways to do a choke, and then I'll come back and ask Octavio, how do you do this? And he says, well, you can do it this way too. So I try and add in different ways into my game. Some people have different aspects and different point of views. So I think it's important to train with everybody, and different academies just cross-train, I think, in my opinion.
I guess being the young guy who's been around, I guess, the older guys, but I also got to see it coming up. Like, my mindset on it was thinking, I guess back in the older days when everybody first started training, a lot of the stuff up here in the U.S., it was a tight-knit group, so everybody kind of knew everybody, so cross-training was a good thing. It was viewed as that. It's still viewed as a good thing, but I think a lot of the younger guys nowadays are the ones that are kind of like, they're kind of pushing that boundary a little bit and saying, hey man, you don't need to go out there and do this or that. And I guess as a young guy coming from the old school background of it, I'd like to see more of the younger guys just kind of venture out and train, and not just, train with like black belts and stuff like that. Like, one of my favorite things to watch is like that EBI Pro or something, the Eddie Bravo thing. And I like watching that just because there's blue belts, there's purple belts, there's brown belts. You have all these really good guys who are like submitting, or normally on a regular basis would submit somebody who's in like a lower ranking class or like a higher ranking class, and you just don't go to train with them because you're afraid of them. And it goes back to what these guys are saying. Everybody brings something different to the table. They have a different background, they have a different setup. I like it. If it's something cool and it's flashy and it just looks fun, I like to try it. So, go out and get as much information as possible from everybody, and don't put anybody off to the side. New school or old school, they're still going to teach you something. When I go into other gyms, and I think this is something I got from him, Professor Octavio, a lot, is you're going to tap. I don't see what the big deal is. You go in, you tap, big deal. It's the whole job is to up the other person's game and up yours. If they're not tapping you, they're not doing their job. So, if you go into another gym and they're like, oh, you're not going to tap me, there's no point in me training with you. I'm going to give you the tap. Why not train with me and do that back? But as far as like training with the other guys, I'll train with them. But I'll keep myself, I guess, like a little guarded, just because you're not really sure about it. But usually, like I said, about third training session in, you start to fill everybody out and you get friends with them. And that's also the part of just going out and training constantly with all of them all the time, is you build a friendship with them. It's not just training jiu-jitsu for the sake of jiu-jitsu. You're building a friendship.
It's not that, oh yeah, I mean, my guys, I'll tell you from my own experience. I have my students come, they say they want to go train, they're going to go out of town, they're going on a trip, they want to go visit a school. Go. Please go enjoy it, meet the people. That's how you're going to, you're meeting family members, man. It could be look at this, I know these guys for 17, 18 years, and you don't just meet someone like that with a closed mind. It just doesn't happen. You got to go out there and meet the people, and feel free to, as a school owner, to not think they're not going to come back. That's your own insecurity, if you ask me. I mean, I'm completely okay with them to go train anywhere else. I believe in my teachings and my brother's teachings and the people that are in our academy, and they'll come back. I haven't had one person leave, go train in another school, and not come back. But I think money gets involved. People think, oh no, I don't want the person to leave. They're not gonna come back and pay me. They're gonna go pay this person over here, which is crazy. It's insane. There's enough people in any town. Like, I live in a town called Denton. Okay, there's like 100,000 people there. There's enough people there to have 15, 20 schools all right next to each other. Probably more than that. We could all train with each other. But people think, oh no, I don't want to go over there because they train over here. That's ridiculous. Go train everywhere, in my opinion.
And that is the opposite effect, because if you think that you have to create any of those fear environment, that you'll be the owner of the school and the professor of the school, that you try to put that fear on the students. Don't go there, don't go there, don't go there, you're not allowed to go there. Later on, without that info, the students gonna be like, why? Why? Students, it's like I have a daughter, 5 years old. Students, it's like a young child with a lot of curiosity. If you keep saying no without educating, you're gonna say, why should I go there? Well, what's the matter? Well, what's the wrong? Make sense? So, at the end of the day, it's the fair, integrity, honest work that you can put on the mat, that the students take the value, say, okay, that's my gym, that's my place, that's my second home. That's not just the technique, but the environment, the students, the atmosphere, everything that makes you stay in that place, and then feel free to visit another place. And most of the times, when you visit some place, you back to your gym, you see, oh man, I love my gym even more. You know, and most time that's the big feedback you have.
Weren't you one told me, like, you know, in Brazil, you would train with people all the time, and then you would compete against them. Yeah, it's completely okay.
Yes.
It's like, no, you would just to grow and to get better.
I have certain guys that I do privates with that are from other gyms. I can't say their names because they don't want me to share their names out, right? They do private, but they said, what's going to happen if I have to compete against Jason one day? Okay, you compete against him. And if you beat him, you're better. I said, he needs to train harder. He needs to learn more. I said, it's better, it's good, it can't hurt. Actually, it's just a game, it's a sport. They're not fighting to the death, you know? It's like, and I think the other thing is that when you go train at other gyms, sometimes, like, you know, it's not wrong, but you should learn the etiquette all the way around so that you know how to conduct yourself when you visit somewhere. You learn the respect of the school, what they expect, you know, a little bit. And I think it's important to have etiquette rules in your gym. You know, I go to some gyms and there is none. What is the rules? No one knows. Then sometimes you have run into chaos, and so nobody knows right and wrong, you know. So I think it's important that also that that happens. But the fun part about, I think, going to other gyms sometimes is like, because I don't compete anymore, but it gives me a chance to get out of my comfort zone, to train with other people. And make me troubleshoot and learn stuff and ask questions, more questions, and that's the growth of it, man. That's the fun part of it. And this can never ever be a boring day in jiu-jitsu.
That's true.
When you had the chance to see on other gyms, that always helps to influence in the future. That if you do like be a professor, you have your own gym, everything that you go to visit around, you pick it up things. Oh, I like the mat. I like the way that the layout of the gym. I like the structure of the class. I don't like this. I like this. Everything that is experience that later on the long road you want to have your gym, you'll be able to mold based on that experience that you've been around. If you just stay in one place at all time, you just narrow yourself in a big art world.
Yeah, you gotta evolve, for sure.
Guys that want to hold their students, or instructors that want to hold their students from not training out there, have stopped evolving. So there's no purpose in training anymore for them. You know, most of the time they're the guys that you see in the office doing paperwork, or with the big bellies pointing at the guy on the floor to do something. You know what I'm talking about.
I like the big belly aspect.
I know there comes to a time in which it happens to everyone, I'm sure, that the teacher can't be on the floor all the time anymore due to injuries or whatever. But still, they have to encourage, find a way to move their students, to motivate students. I mean, I know you've worked with me, you know, several world champions, the guys, and those same guys, I don't think they got to be world champions by just training with you alone. They train with their friends and the other teammates that you worked with. So I know, I mean, because I mean, in my older days, you know, we'd go out and you stepped in the gym, you had like a trophy on your head. Nobody really cared. They found out what you were, and if you had a blue belt, they wanted that blue belt, and they were going to choke you out and armbar you. You get so beat up, and like you'd come out of there and go, I'm not going back there anymore. You didn't have a good experience, right? You were kind of beat up. Today, it's a little bit different, hopefully, when you go to certain gyms, but like in the old days, like I said, you'd walk in and, man, you knew you were going to be in a dogfight. There was no doubt about it, you know. And that's just the way it's going to be.
One thing that you have to find in any gym that you go, that you said very well about the rules, you want to feel respect as being a human being. Respect. On that respect, all right, you're going to try to tap me out, fine. What's going to happen? I'm going to tap, It's much been like for so many years. So one more, one less doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
You know. So respect for both sides, vice versa. You respect the environment that you are at the gym. They should respect you as a guest, you know, or just say, hey, you're not allowed to train over here. We don't accept the guests.
And why wouldn't you want to go enjoy jiu-jitsu at somebody else's gym? Like that, I've known Mark for 17, 18 years and make friendships like that. So I see no reason for you not to say, hey, well, I can't go over there because my professor told me I can't. No. If you really love jiu-jitsu, you will want to go visit other people's places so you can learn different things, meet new friendships, and who knows, they can be your best friend for the rest of your life. You know, so.
Marco said it best. Jiu-jitsu's fun. That's it, man. You just gotta have fun. I mean, no matter who you're training with, just have fun.